Hi, everybody. I'm Clemmy Hubert,
My name is Nicole Lafont.
and our presentation is on communication in close relationship, friends, family, and romantic partners.
Mm-hmm. All right. So communication is an important factor in every social interaction. It plays a significant role in starting and keeping long-lasting relationships in one's life. The three most important relationships where good communication is vital, maybe even in your life, are family, friends, and romantic partners. Chapter 1, Communication and Friendships. A good friend is like a four-leaf clover, hard to find and lucky to have. An Irish proverb. What is friendship? The state of being a friend, associated by friends, or to value a person's friendship, according to dictionary.com. Everyone has their own definition of friendship, but not everyone has the same type of friendships with their friends. It's important to differentiate different types of friendships and determine the role communication plays in each of them. In this presentation, we'll be going over three of the main types of friendships, starting with low versus high disclosure. Low versus high disclosure is the amount of detail about yourself you tell to your friends. With certain people, you may be more transparent with them, and with others, you may be more open. Think about your friendships you have in life right now. How many friends do you have know a lot about you, and how many don't know that much at all? The second type involves low versus high obligation. Low versus high obligation involves friends who will do anything for you and do anything for them, and others who don't get that much obligation from you. For example, you may have a friend at school who you know a little bit, but you won't probably go to their house in the middle of the night to help them out of a issue they may have. However, your best friend you know for many years, you may do anything for them. For example, you may get them out of a bad breakup or help them out of their situation at school. The last and final type we're going to talk about is infrequent versus frequent contact. This is something that I've experienced before in my own friendships. With certain friends, I talk to them quite oftenly, whether we're in school setting or outside of our school settings. Certain friends I talk to once in a while, and those are usually friends that live in a very far place from where I am, or friends I see at school sometimes on certain projects. Another thing to know about friendships is how gender plays a role in them. Gender as a factor. Same-sex and cross-sex friendships change how communication is used and conveyed. On our first example, we look at same-sex friendships. In female friendships concluded by FIER, women bond primarily through mutual self-disclosure. To further talk about that, women in friendships are more prone to being open with each other emotionally. We are more prone to relating to certain topics such as romance, family, and children. You may not talk to about your you may talk to your male friend as openly as you do your female friends, and we are more closely knit in our emotional standpoints than other people. We seek disclosure and emotional support from them more than men do with their male friends. As Jeffrey Brief explains, masculine friendships are more of a face-to-face relationship, which means they won't really get together and have an emotional conversation about their girlfriend or their wife or their children. They're more prone to bonding over certain aspects of their life like sports, work, or etc. And when they do get a little more emotionally vulnerable, it's more masculinely masked. The next factor is cross-sex. Now, this is not something that's oftenly done, but it is done as you become an adult. Cross-sex friendships are friendships with different genders, and they tend to provide a healthy contrast to otherwise stereotyped communications explained in same-sex friendships. As I just went over, female friendships are more emotionally based, while masculine ones are more, I guess, casual. However, in cross-sex friendships, it's healthier for a man and a female to be friends because a man is more open to his emotional vulnerability and a woman is more open to how a man acts and reacts to certain aspects. However, some cons to that would be, of course, the sexual attraction that may arise from that, as one party may be romantically interested and the other one is not. Another important thing to note is how gender roles also play a key part in communication. For example, if you have a masculine friend who's a female, you may act differently around her. You may not seek her for emotional support or anything that's more femininely based. Same thing with your feminine friend who's a male. You may not have a heart to heart with him about sports or about masculine issues you may have. You may act differently, communicate differently, depending on how he acts towards you. With all this in mind, here are some effective communication skills for long-lasting and successful friendships, as explained by Adler, Rosenfield, and Proctor. Step 1, you can lend a hand. This pretty much means that if your friends has an issue going on or they need your help, you just lend a hand to them. If they need help with the school project, you can help them. If they need help with some advice in their life, you can provide that for them. Another thing you could do is sharing lasting memories. This is pretty easy, and I'm sure you do this with all your friends, family, and even people you might not know. You could watch a movie, laugh together, remember some things you might have done in your past together that are very funny and heartwarming and give you that nostalgic feeling. And you can just spend time together and create more memories. Another thing you can do is providing listening ear. If your friend just went through a devastating loss, or if they lost their job, or they're just having a bad day, just listen to them. That'll really mean a lot to them to have somebody listen to their woes and worries. You can treat each other with respect. Respect is very important no matter where you are, no matter who you're talking to. There has to be a mutual respect for both parties. If they respect you, you respect them. And if they don't explain or convey that quite a lot, you can respect them enough and they might respect you more. And last but not least, apologizing and forgiving. Not all friendships are smooth sailing. Sometimes you may get each other's nerves, or sometimes you may just have a bad day with each other. An important thing is to apologize and to forgive. If you don't apologize, then the friendship will not last. If you don't forgive, you always hold a grudge and the friendship will crumble. So it's important to always apologize and to always forgive. Once you've done all this, you will have a long-lasting friendship. And here are the benefits of friendship. Research has shown lack of social connections or friendships can lead to health risks like depression and early death. According to Anna Miller's article titled Friends Wanted, the importance of strong social connections have been linked with such benefits such as a greater pain tolerance and a stronger immune system. She goes on to list a multitude of researchers and psychologists who've all concluded the absence of social connections and interactions have detrimental effects. One example from psychologists at Brigham Young University explains that participants with stronger social relationships were 50% more likely to survive over studies given periods than those with weaker connections. Moral of the story, it's good to have friends.
Pooh Bear, what if someday there came a tomorrow when we were apart?
As long as we're apart together, we shall certainly be fine.
And here we are to our next chapter. Chapter 2, Communication in Families. A family tie is like a tree. It can bend, but it cannot break. An African proverb. And now I'll hand over to my partner.
We are family. What is family? If you ask Google, you will get something along the line of a group of one or more parents and their children living together as a unit. That's the basic, but family goes much deeper than that. It's a bunch. Is that a bunch? Oh my God. Let me see. It's a bunch of trust, reliable loyalty, love, and understanding.
That's right. In my
Okay.
own family, we have quite a lot of love and understanding with each other, and we are working on all of our trust as well. Now let's go on to dimensions of family as communication systems. Now there are many, now it's hard to say that families are communication systems, but it's good to categorize that so you may decipher it quickly and easily. So the first point we have, our family members are interdependent. This means that if explained by the Interplay book, if you touch one piece of a hanging sculpture or wall chime, all the parts move in response. So to build off of that, if a family member leaves or if they kind of move away from the whole family dynamic will be changed. You might not talk as much, or you may talk more, or you may have strained relations. So this is kind of saying that family units are a unit. They're like put together, like almost like a jigsaw puzzle. When you have one piece missing, the whole family changes. Like I'm sure we've all played the game. I think it's called the little block game where you pull blocks out. When you pull one block out, the whole pillar falls. This is kind of what this first statement means. So when one member leaves the family, it's bound to have some different communication standpoints. Another point is family is more than the sum of its parts. And as explained by the book, even if you knew each member separately, you still won't understand family system until you saw the members interact. For instance, you may have known friends who turned to very different people when they became a couple. So in my own words, to off of that, a family will act differently if they're as a family or if they're broken apart. So in my own experiences, I have noticed how my family interacts with our other family down the hill. We act differently on our own, but we come together, we're like not different people, but we have a more there's more of a positive, there's already a positive dynamic, but there's an even more positive dynamic. We intermix perfectly, we talk about everything, and we're not as highly guarded as we are when we're separate. Last but never least, families have systems with larger systems. Now, traditional family of four can have 6 communication subsystems with 2 people, mother and father, mother and son, and mother and daughter. So this is one of the examples placed in the book, but I believe what they're saying is in each family, we have little systems, but we're more closely knit. For example, me and my brother may be considered, or you and your sibling, anyone really, you may be considered a small system within your family. You may communicate more, you may communicate less, but you are a system within a larger system. Same thing with my mom and her siblings. They are a system within a larger family. She's with her family before she had her own children, and we became a system, part of that system. So it's good to look at all the dimensions of families.
The communication in families are similar to those in friendship. However, there are some different, as family relations are more permanent and unlivable. Oh my God, I hate this. Or contrary to friends. Contrary to friends. To keep family, one must. Okay, I need to get this up a little close. Strive for closeness. Learn to compromise and understand. Use but don't abuse technology and social media.
And how does this correspond to you, Clemmy?
Oh wait, well, the strive with closeness. My other 2 younger siblings, we're closer than my other family. The reason why is because our mom and dad basically brought us up to be close, even though we have family and we love them, but the bond that we have is more closer than any of my other families.
Okay, cool.
So,
And for me, to learn
Mhm.
to compromise and understand. My mom enforces that role when it comes to me and my brother. Sometimes we have arguments and she hopes and she makes us, well, she advises us to compromise and understand one another. So if I want to watch TV and he wants to watch TV, we can compromise by saying, you could watch it for 2 hours and I'll watch it for 2 hours. So that's how we do it. And in my family, we don't really use technology and social media as much. We have more face to face conversations, and I'm very grateful for that. So on the next slide, we have source number one. To better create a family dynamic through communication and engagement, NAA state affiliate Dr. Kenneth Anthony provides healthy habits to practice and strengthen the effectiveness of communication in families. He says to be genuine when strengthening family connections. In other words, he wants us to be, he wants us to actually want to strengthen family connections. You shouldn't just do it because it's, you have to or somebody makes you. You should genuinely want to make your family connections stronger. Next, he encourages participation from parents. So he wants parents to encourage their children and themselves to participate in all activities. This could be by watching a movie, playing a board game, going out of town, just spending quality time with each other away from your computer screens or TV. And lastly, understand family structures. In this day and time, people are evolving and changing all the time. So it's good to understand and sometimes change how you perceive things based on the changing mannerisms of your family. So understand how your family dynamic will be changing, and also understand how your parents may view things and how your kids may view things. Just have an understanding all around the board. And we're coming to our very last chapter, which is communication and romantic relationships. A day lasts until it's chased away, but love lasts until the grave, an Irish proverb. And I'll hand it over to you again, Clemmy.
Okay. The characteristic of romantic relationship: love. This is what
An intense feeling.
intense feeling of deep affection. Committed. No, it's not committed. I hate this. It's commitment. It says commitment, the state of equality, of being dedicated to a cause, activity, etc. And then affection, a feeling of liking and caring for someone or something.
Mm-hmm. So go ahead.
Okay, so like love, when it's like intense feelings of deep affection, basically, love you can have basically like deep feeling affection. My first app, like, yes, I was in love actually before and had deep feelings, but some love, affection, you might actually be in love with a person and he might not be in love with you the same actually way.
Mm-hmm. That's really true. Next slide.
The next one is mastering love language. Using meaningful love device to convert your feelings for someone that goes further than the simple phrase "I love you." Gary Chapman introduced 5 love languages in romantic relationship. Words of oh God, how did you say that word?
Words of affirmation.
Words of affirmation, quality time, gift, act of service, and physical touch.
And here is our last slide. And I will say this quickly.
Okay.
How early social communication plays a role in romantic relationships. According to the American Association, adults who've had either positive or negative communication factors in their lives have The effect of it has greatly influenced the nature of their relationships. For individuals who were secure, confident, and close with their friends in their youth are more expressive, affectionate, and openly communicative with their significant other, contrary to those who did not experience healthy interactions in their early years, resulting to them being argumentative, closed off, or abusive. And that's the end of our presentation.